Happy Thursday, second graders. It is Miss Fitzgerald here for Math for Today. You should be on day 9 in your packet. We are going to start with our Unlock the Problem. Listen as I read it. Susan spent 242 minutes on iReady. Billy spent 118 fewer minutes on iReady. How many minutes did Billy spend on iReady? I'm going to read it one more time. Susan spent 242 minutes on iReady. Billy spent 118 fewer minutes on iReady. How many minutes did Billy spend on iReady? So take a second to pause and think about what we know and what is important. Okay, so I know that Susan, I'm going to put an S for Susan, spent 242 minutes. I'm going to put the abbreviation on iReady, and Billy spent 118 fewer. So that fewer is really important, right? He didn't spend 118 minutes on iReady. He spent 118 fewer minutes on iReady than Susan did. So that's what we should have for the what do we know and what is important. Okay, so next let's think about what are we trying to find and what is the question? So I'm going to go back to the problem and I'm going to underline the question. So the question is, how many minutes did Billy spend on iReady? Okay, so if that is the question, within the question, it should help me figure out the unit. So what is the unit? So I'm trying to find how many minutes Billy spent on iReady. So the unit would be minutes, right? Because I need to know how many minutes he was actually on iReady. I don't know right now. I just know he was on less than Susan, right? 118 fewer minutes than Susan. So the unit would be minutes. Now, how will we use the information to solve the problem? Pause if you need to, but take a second to think. How can I use this information to figure out how many minutes Billy spent on iReady? So I know if he spent 118 fewer minutes on iReady than Susan, then I should just be able to subtract to figure out exactly how many minutes Billy spent on iReady. So we're going to move right to the solve. So I need to subtract, right? I need to do 242 minus 118. So you're going to solve that, friends. And then once I solve it, I cannot forget I must put my answer in a complete sentence. So Billy spent blank. That's where your answer is going to go. Minutes on iReady. And again, I have a capital letter. And I'm going to end this with a period. And your writing is going to be much neater than Miss Fitzgerald's because you are going to be doing it on paper, not with a digital pen. So there's our Unlock the Problem for today. Okay, now let's do a little bit of fluency before we jump into our work for today. So we're going to do 10 more or 10 less. It should be really quick. So I'm looking at, sorry guys, there we go. So I'm looking at 50 first. 50 has 5 tens. I'm doing 10 more or 10 less. So 10 more for 50 would be 60. 10 less would be 40. Let's try 60. What is 10 more? If I add another 10 to my 6 tens, I would get 70. If I'm taking away a 10 from my 6 tens, I would be at 50. Okay, I'm going to pause. Pause me now. See if you can quickly do the other 10 more or 10 less, and then you can check your work. Do it on a dry erase sheet or do it in your notebook. Go ahead and pause. Okay, I'm going to keep going. So 10 more to 90, I have 9 tens. Then I'll have 10 tens. That's going to be 100. 10 less would be 80. Trying to be really quick. 10 more, I have 0 tens, right? So now I'm going to have a 10. Take away a 10, it's going to put me back at 90. 130, 10 more, I have 3 tens, so I'm going to be at 140. Take away a 10, I'm going to be at 120. Now for 140, 10 more would be 150. 10 less would be 130. And there's our fluency practice for today. Okay, we are going to do a little bit of review. We are reviewing these last couple of weeks of our distance learning so that we are prepared for the 3rd grade. So this square that you see here represents a 1 or ones, right? Whenever we're using models, our base 10 blocks to represent numbers. This would represent a 10. And this one is a 100. So looking at this and thinking back to what we have learned, how many ones do I need to make a 10? How many ones do I need to make a 10? Okay, so if I am looking at my ones, I can kind of look at my 10. My 10 is made up of ones. Let's see how many ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 ones equals 110. Okay, now let's look at our 10. How many tens make up 100? So again, this is my 10. I'm going to look. So this is a 10, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 tens equals 100. I'm just going to put a H there. So now I want to think. I'm looking at my ones. I'm looking at my 100. I'm trying to remember how many ones are in 100. How many ones are in 100? And I know there are 10 ones and 110, 10 tens and 100. I don't want to count each of these little squares, each of these ones. That's not very efficient. I'm going to count by tens. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So 100 ones also equals 100. Okay, so that was our review. Let's keep going. Okay, so if I'm trying to represent a number using hundreds, tens, and ones, let's do a little review practice on that. So let's say my number is 222. That means I would draw two hundreds. I have two tens and two ones. That is how I would represent that number using hundreds, tens, and ones. Okay, moving to some subtraction practice for today so that you can get started on your work. So we're going to do 500 take away 365. And we're going to show this with lining it up and solving it vertically, and we're going to do a visual model as we always do. So I'm going to put my hundreds, my tens, my ones, hundreds, tens, and ones. Okay. So let me first go ahead and make sure I line up my subtraction problem. So 500 minus 365. Okay. And now I need to create a visual model. So I'm going to do 500 or 5. So 500 doesn't have any tens and it doesn't have any ones. And I don't want to model 365, right? Because I'm taking away 365. So I'm going to go ahead and solve it vertically first. So 0 take away 5. I can't do that, right? If I have nothing, I can't take 5 away. So let me go next door to my tens. I don't have any tens either, so I can't unbundle a 10 when I don't have any tens. So now I'm moving on to my hundreds, okay? So I'm gonna have to unbundle. I'm gonna have to take one of my hundreds and give it to my tens. And remember, there are 10 tens and 100. So I just gave that to my tens. So now I have some tens I can unbundle, right, to give to my ones. So I'm going to unbundle a 10. Now I have 9 tens and give that 10 to my ones. Now I'm ready to subtract. 10 take away 5 is 5. 9 take away 6 is 3. And 4 take away 3 is 1. Okay, now let me work on my visual model. So I have to take away 5 ones. I don't have 5 ones yet, right? I have to unbundle 100. So I'm going to, oops, let me not cross it out, right? Let me circle it. Okay, so I need to unbundle 100, right? Because I need to take away 5 ones, but I don't have any ones and I don't have any tens to unbundle a 10. So let me unbundle 100 first. So I'm going to circle this 100 and I'm going to move it over here to my 10. So I get 10 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And remember, I need to take away 5 ones first. So I have to do that again, right? I have to unbundle a 10 and now give it to my ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I'm going to switch up my color. So now let's take away 365. So I have to take away 5 ones. So let's see how many ones I have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's see how many 10s I have left. 1. Well, I have to take away 6 10s, right? So we take away 6 10s. Let's take away 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I have 1, 2, 3 10s left. And now I need to take away 3 hundreds. And I have 100 left. So I got 135 for both of my answers. Great job. Let's keep going. Let's do one more. Okay, so this time we are going to do 823 take away 260. So let me do my hundreds, tens, and ones, and make sure I'm lining my numbers up correctly. 823 take away 260. Okay, this time I'm just going to go ahead and solve it vertically first, and then I'll do my visual model. So I have 3 ones, take away 0 ones. That means I took away nothing, right? It's still 3. 2 10s take away 6 10s. If I have 2 10s, I can't take away 6 10s from that. So that means I'm going to have to unbundle. So I'm going to unbundle 100, and I'm going to give it to my 10. So now I have 12 10s. So 12 take away 6 is 6, and then 7 take away 2 is 5. So I have 563. Now let me try using the visual model. Hundreds, tens, and ones. So remember, I'm just going to model 823, not 260, because I'm taking that away. So I have 800s, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 10s, and 3 ones. Okay, let's start solving. So first I have to take away no ones, so that means I still have 3. I need to take away 6 10s, but I don't have enough 10s, right? So that means I'm going to have to unbundle 100 to give it to my 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now I can take away my 6 tenths. So here's 4 10s I'll take away, 2 more here. Let's see how many 10s I have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now let me count my hundreds that are left. Well, I have to take away 2 hundreds first, right? So let me take away 2 hundreds. And now let me count how many hundreds I have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So look, 563, 563. We did a great job. There's your answer. Okay, so now it is your turn to practice. You are going to solve it vertically or mentally here, but you are also going to draw it out using your place 10 ones, tens, and hundreds, like Miss Fitzgerald just did. Okay, and think of a strategy to check your work over there. Use addition to check your work. And then after that, make sure you take a picture and send your work to your teachers. We cannot wait to see it. Have a great day.